provide live, and then
Yeah.
kind of talk about, you know, the challenge exactly. So this week we are competing, and it's a live um, competition, and there are already people that are doing it, and it's an art competition, and the first reference is kind of slightly older, 2014, but it describes the kind of a very detailed conference presentation of one of the person from Pakistan, their competition, a very similar competition they had in Kaggle. So it will be in your interest to read it, because it kind of really tells you the flow and the kind of how you go into improving the kind of the modeling, and the difference between the first winner and the other one, the person who's in that competition, which was in the rank 1001, was on the fourth digit. Okay, so that's a kind of like, and the reason is because it's a summary statistics. So of course, when you sum things, you know, the fourth digit means like somehow an error of like, you know, 2% or 5% more, or like sometimes even 1%. So it's kind of like, it's not an advisable way to learn something, but it's a very good way to understand what really impacts, what is data modeling, what is predictive analysis. And almost always in a company framework, the reason why we don't use deep learning is that because we don't get to a point where we are improving when there are many things to improve, the improvement that will come from deep learning becomes marginal compared to other things like, you know, governance structure, or some simple just going away from, for example, just humans feeling to just an algorithm sometimes improves a lot, and then just adding like that extra like 1% sometimes doesn't justify the process. That's why in almost many companies they struggle to use deep learning unless you are Google, unless you are Facebook. So this is not always the case, but this is a way to know, like it's just basically a way to illustrate how much you understood the different subtleties, because to really improve a small amount means usually you have to work sometimes, I would say, like 1,000 times more than just the first modeling. So it's really not linear. Like the first 90%, sometimes you can improve it in one day, and to add 1% improvement on that probably will take you another week. And then to improve 0.5% on that probably will take you another year. You know, so it's kind of like, it's really not linear, right? So, but it really tells you, but to go that means it's research. It's kind of understanding and like the really appreciating the different steps and trying to improve at each of those, the processing part, the data understanding, the feature engineering. The most in kind of Kaggle and Dindi challenge, the main gains usually are feature engineering and kind of selecting the usual. If it's like structured data like insurance or others, then it's kind of usually use some kind of gradient boosting, which is XGBoost. That's why a lot of the second, for example, and the third reference are on XGBoost. So with that, you kind of capture, and then the next 0.5% or 1% improvement in your model would take probably your weeks, right? Like, so your full week probably. So this is not this is a point for you to really understand and appreciate the kind of the subtleties, why you needed to learn some kind of statistics, why you needed sometimes to read some papers, why you needed to understand why you shouldn't throw data, why you should kind of impute, what kind of imputation you use, what kind of in the pre-processing, what kind of feature engineering. So it's kind of, you start really feeling the different things we covered over the last 6 weeks, but this time trying to utilize and get the best out of it. So this is the week. We have only one tutorial per day, and that's intentional. If you have, the thing is, we can't share codes. Every code that you're going to share should be in Zindi. Read the rules. The rules means like whatever you have an advantage other than basically, you know, general knowledge, other people outside you, like that means who are competing, also should have. So that's the major principle in both Zindi and Kaggle. So we really strictly follow that. So that means, you know, we don't even ask you your code if you want to continue improving it and submit and trying to win, right? So we only ask you whatever code you shared. So for example, if there are some non-critical part of your code, just share it there and share it in GitHub, and then you upload it. So the very normal pre-processing, what you use probably is mostly what you're going to share. So we're going to follow that strict kind of their rules, because we are using their platform. And but we will give a general, like, kind of, for example, on XGBoost, on stacking, boosting, as well as what is the other one? Stacking, boosting, and something. Like, there are these three lines where we try to give you the three flavors of combining different types of model to improve your. I think there will be one tutorial, but if you need some kind of buggy, thanks. So if you want like some kind of like, okay, I think I don't understand the concept behind this and I want to use that, but whatever, then we can try to arrange separate just off, like tutorial on that, or maybe other people within the team can just give that tutorial. So tutorials are not, I mean, it's like call it a very highly targeted reference, right? So I don't think that kind of breaks the rule. So we can do that. We can provide those kind of things. But for now, we only just provide one tutorials per day. And then the rest you kind of try to either discuss, I mean, conceptual things you can discuss in our Slack, as well as also in Zinni. So if there is any question or anything, we will brainstorm. So I will give now to Arun and others if there is another announcement, and then you kind of can reflect on your expectations, the usual stand-up.
This is fun. So now we're getting further out into the real world. So last week I missed most of the stand-ups because I was busy doing the one-on-ones, and that was great. Some of you missed your one-on-ones, so if you want to schedule those, please reach out and we'll try and find a way to make it work. They were time intensive, but I think it was really useful for me to learn more about how everyone is doing, and also to provide a little bit of input. I hope that the feedback that we gave will be taken constructively. Our goal remains the same. We want each and every person to be job ready. And yeah, we're happy to continue to provide feedback. We plan to do the next one-on-ones in about a month, so that we'll have 2 throughout the program. And the next one will be further in the program. So we're half done, guys. Weeks 1 to 6 are in the bag. This is week 7, so congratulations on making it this far. If you've come this far, you can make it towards the end. And I hope that it's not only my encouragement to each of you based on last week is make sure you stay healthy. Kind of at the start, I've put out a lot of stuff, some of which were kind of in a jokey format, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. But if you get sick and you don't take care of your health, it's not a clever way to be. So the concepts that we are exposing you to are useful, but week on week, your goal is to keep learning yourself. And other indicators, including the leaderboard, are simply one side. So don't make yourself sick to try and get on the leaderboard. Do consider working really hard to try and learn and make yourself job ready. And the leaderboard's a bit like GDP. It's maybe the least worst, or the number of publications. It's the least worst indicator. It's not meaningless, but it's not. It misses a lot. With that, I think Idris has a session that's happening today. Today at 4 o'clock, and otherwise, yeah, I think that's all from my side. Anyone else on the team, Prosper? What's happening today with CBA?
Yeah, so CBA, we're just going to zoom straight to our mental health talk. Planning on talking about something interesting with them, but then still checking in to find out how they're doing, and then see how the week will go. So pretty much it for today.
Just a word on CBA. I know CBA might seem off to the side, but I don't know how else to say this. It will be very hard to recreate this community when people get busy working. Once people have jobs, once people have other responsibilities, they may not be as available. So I would really encourage you, as one of your career, build strong relationships in this community. And taking part in the CBA Prosper this is what he's trying to do. It's not just something that's off to the side. I would encourage everyone to take it very seriously, build strong relationships in this community, because they are people, when you sit down at your job and you get a bit stuck or you want some inspiration, some of the people who you meet here will be the people who can help you.
Yeah, so that's it. Thanks for adding that, Arun. And I'll reach out to some individuals who haven't been on for some time. So I hope that whatever the problem is, they will get back on for us to get really interactive.
Yeah. Anyone else on the team before we go over to the stand-up? No. All right. Ada's first. Oh my God. And Lowell is fourth. Ada, good stuff. No. Ada was waiting. She had already typed it in. Nahom.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Is it cold?
Not actually. Yeah, it's because of the thing I told you last time. So I had to come up with a different one this time. You didn't like the electronic company one, so I came up with the retail company this time, Walmart.
Okay. Well, it's a lot. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I can say that last week was really the worst in terms of what I had to go through to submit what I have submitted, because there was an accident because of a very strong rain, and an accident happened to 132 kilovolts power transmitter. So I had to spend a night or two at my uncle's place. Did I get disconnected?
No, you're on.
Oh,
yeah.
You just freeze the Ababal, and that's why I thought the connection was off. So
yeah,
I had to spend a night or two at my uncle's place to avert what was happening. I can say, in terms of the challenge, everything went well, and I published my Medium article, and today I got a request from Analytics Vinda, a publication on Medium, to post my Medium article on their publication. So I just replied to them. In addition to that, Towards Data Science is also interested, and they've accepted me and wanted me to modify some things, which I'll do, of course, after the weekly leaderboard is updated, because if I mess up with it, if I edit it now, I think the date of last modification will change. So I'm planning to do it after Friday. So that's how my week went, and I'm glad and excited with the competition ahead. So I believe we're going to have a good week. Thank you.
Great. That's amazing. We'll have to get you a 10 Academy hat, so when you do a video call with them, you can wear a 10 Academy.
Exactly. Good point, Arun. That's a.
Are we real if nobody has a T-shirt with our logo?
Yeah, it is. That's a very hard problem. Yeah.
Is memory here? Sorry, go ahead. I'm just looking for who's next on this.
Yeah, memory. I think.
Don't see a memory online. I think memory has fallen ill. I don't see a memory online. Emmanuel? Osualole? Is he online? He's probably just offended that I pronounced his name wrong. Okay, we'll go ahead. Lowell? Okay, Emmanuel's network is good. Hi, Lowell.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So well, I think for me last week it was okay. At least it started my journey of okay. I'm a little bit now convinced that I will just have to learn disruptively along the whole training. So and my colleagues have been very helpful. You shared the book with me by O'Reilly. Yeah, and I've read some of the appendix and I've read some of the initial parts. I think it's really going to help me. So, and I want to note the fact that I think it would be great if the team can always have, I know you guys know, but then I think I'll just say it again, that in as much as some of us are struggling, we are not the majority. I think it's always be good to know that there are some people that don't have the statistical background. And if take for instance, last week when we had to create .py file, I mean to do the modularization of our code. I mean, I didn't even know how to create the .py file, and I didn't even know the question to ask. So I think it was somebody that mentioned it on the group page to use % write file model.py. So from there, because now if I don't know what's going on, I won't even know the question to ask. It's only when I know what's going on, I know the question to ask. But I think I'm getting on pretty well. So for this week, I think I have a little bit more flexibility and freedom to kind of deploy everything I've learned, like the piece bit of everything I've gotten from all the weeks we've been doing statistical modeling to now do something in the competition. So I'll try my best to, and I'll reach out to people if I need help. And yeah, I think that's just about it. We're off it to the end. So yeah, thank you everyone. Just a new week.
All right, Stephanie.
Hi everyone. So last week was pretty good. I learned a lot. I'm just preparing for the sick, reading the references that were shared. I'm just hoping to have a good week and looking forward to competing on the Zindi platform. Thanks.
Biniam.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, as I was saying, last week was a bit tough because of power and connection interruptions. But at the end of the day, I managed to submit all the challenges on time. And for this week, I have come up with a plan on how to work with these interruptions, with the power going on and off. So I think this week will be great. I've already checked out the Zindi challenge. I have some questions that I will be asking Ababal after this. Yeah, so everything is good. Thank you.
Okay. I don't see TJ Sunimi online.
She was also fallen sick, right?
Has she fallen sick? I
I
didn't.
mean, at least last time, I saw some.
Okay. We'll go ahead to Jeanette.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning, Jeanette. Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Yes. Last week was quite good. I tried my best to deliver what I was able to do, and I'm looking forward to this week also about the competition. Hopefully I will deliver something good. And what I can say to my fellow trainees, I can congratulate all of us for reaching this far. Also, what I can say is to everyone to do a self-evaluation and see what percentage you are at being a work-ready data science, and see the gap that you have to fill to become a job ready by the last week. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jeanette.
So there is a question from Ada on the group. So if you have one person you want to compete with, because this is not our competition, so it's set up in their way. And if you form group, it has to be just in their way, not from our side. So that's why from our side, we simplified everything. But if you want to compete in groups, I think you will submit everything from our side, just your rank. And I think that should be fine. There's no challenge from our side. But whatever you do, you have to do it, that grouping in their side. So it's up to you, and only, I think, as you see, the submission is just your grade, your kind of rank. So if you are in a group and all of you have the same group, the same rank, I think that's fine. that's fine with us. But it's up to you to organize the grouping this time, not from our side.
So are we saying that group work is allowed, or are we setting any limits on how big and any other, do we need to set any rules?
I think no. I think they do the arrangement themselves, because we don't control the group. We don't assign groups. So this is not our jurisdiction. So if you want to work in groups, fine, go with and work, register as a team, because you have to register as a team separately. So it's not like for us to monitor that. But then finally, you definitely just, of course, give us your submissions as the public course you shared and the rank. So it doesn't matter for us what you do. So if you want to work in a group, just work in a group as much as you want.
Do you recommend one way or the other, Yababa, based on your experience?
I think it's again, if you have been working for a while in a group and you really know how to divide it, it's great. And if you have a clear reason why you want to do it, then it always takes an advantage. But this is because this is almost always, sometimes in competitions, individuals win, sometimes groups win. And the only reason probably groups win is that when they work together, in the same place usually, and they kind of explore a lot much more. For example, if it's computational intensive, then you can explore a little bit more and then you combine together. So if you have that kind of capacity, definitely, of course, is good to work in a group. But if not, if you're just still trying the same models, running same things, it's better to compete in individually, because then you all submit the same thing and you will increase your chance. So per day, per team, the number of submissions are 10. So if you are individual, it's the same. So if you are now 4 individuals, you can submit 40 things. But if you are one group, you can only submit 10 per day, right? So it's kind of, that limits you, groups limits you, and only be a group if you see an advantage. So from the number of submission perspective, groups are not recommended. I mean, would limit you. But from the working perspective, and you can explore a lot more and then combine them and then submit one strong model, then I think that's fine. Or you can share codes with each other, and that's also another advantage. So there's this advantage and disadvantage. So you have to think what works for you.
So we'll update then the challenge description to reflect what we just talked about then.
But
Okay.
we don't assign groups. So that's one thing to be just very clear. Don't expect from us to do anything. Next week also, we might have a Kaggle challenge. So we can only, the data and everything comes from there. We can't tell you codes. We can't solve your problems in the code sense. And we can only become a good reference. So a kind of targeted reference. So just keep that in mind. And when you ask us, also ask us that kind of general question, then particular specific questions.
All right. Okay, so we'll update the challenge. Rahel? Is Rahel here?
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I don't have much to say, but last week was good for me. It was great. I used my time very well and learned a lot. And I'm looking forward to learning more this week too. So, thank you.
Great. Victoria?
Good morning, everyone. Happy New
Morning.
Week.
Yes.
Okay, so last week I learned a lot too. I enjoyed working with Tableau, and I learned a lot about evaluation metrics and using cross validation too. So I'm hoping to put all those knowledge I learned into practice more as the weeks go by. Thank you.
Good. Elvis Combo?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes, so about last week is it was good from my side. I count it a week that I learned much of the things, and I did the report and posted on Medium and as well analytics. they took my report and also posted in the Medium. So it's in Medium and also analytics. Yeah. So this week I look forward to also learn more and get into the competition world. Thank you.
Well, it's great. Last one, Abu Bakr.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Last week was very good for me. Learned working with Tableau in one night. I'm improving on it now. Building the models and then evaluation. I learned a lot about modularizing the code and making a good GitHub repository and then the report too was okay. I got an email from Analytics Media also this month. Medium also recommended my article to curators, and it was currently ranked number 5 now in search data preprocessing and training on Google. And this week I'm looking forward to the competition. I really love the challenge description, so I'm really looking forward to building the models and competing, because that's majorly what I've been doing since. So I hope I grow and learn a lot this week. So,
Wow, super. Okay, I'm going to reach out to just post a message on Slack asking for links for people who've been would love to amplify that. So that's really super news. I was sharing some of the just random Medium articles that people had shared as through their submissions, and a friend of mine who runs his own math outreach thing, Yavabalis Andreas, he was asking if he can also take part and learn, because you guys were writing about stuff that he, with a PhD in math, didn't know either. So that's good news. Ken?
I mean, I think impressive. I'm just saying, guys, really well done. I think everyone is really doing well. So I'm happy to hear that.
Ken?
Hi.
Hi.
Last week wasn't that bad. At least now I'm in a point where I can say I understand what's going on actually. Now at least, like last week when I was doing the challenge, actually I knew what I was doing compared to the other weeks. Like some things I wasn't sure what I was doing. I was just guessing, trying to know what's happening. But last week, at least I understood everything I did. At least that's a plus. But the part that I didn't finish was the modularization part, and the blog, I wrote a really short blog. I'm expecting to edit it this week, and I'm looking forward to this week's challenge. Although it might be difficult to, like, I don't know if I'll have an extension or what, because I have exams. Like today I have an exam, and tomorrow I have an exam, and they're my final exams. So I don't know how I'll manage this week, because I also have some other exams, I think on Thursday and Friday. Yeah. But overall, I think I'll just manage. I'll try my best and submit something to Zindi. Yeah.
Yeah, that's difficult. So again, maybe reach out if you want to talk offline. You can reach out to one of us on Slack and we can discuss it. Last recommendation is Ada. Last nomination, I should say. Too much noise on Ada's side. Okay. Anyone else want to go?
All right, I think I have something to say. Should I go on?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, the idea of putting our GitHub link on our profile, I think it's a great one. And maybe most people have not been making use of it, but I would say maybe we should make use of it. Because yesterday night, because I realized everyone have submitted, so I just went to Ada's profile, checked what she did, and it was quite helpful. I mean, I understood everything she did, and I could search and all. So I just wanted to mention that if anyone has not been making use of it, yeah. I mean, next week might be Manuel or Patrick's. Yeah, thank you.
Anastasia?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry for the delay. So personally, I okay, I expected a lot from myself last week, and I must say I did not. It's finally my worst week. It was easy, and I expected I would do a better work, but I didn't like what I submitted. I know everybody's saying last week was the best and everything, but okay, personally it's become my worst week since we started. But I'm looking forward to this week. So I also did my Medium article, and it was not what I wanted, so I didn't even submit it towards the science, although I'm the writer. But I've seen so many people saying here analytics, they got a comment. I was like, hey, will I get an invite? I've just checked my response, and I also got an invite from analytics. So I think I'll respond to it later. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to this week. Hope it will be better than last week, because last week I attended no tutorials. I had issues with my internet, everything, but I hope this week will be better. I'm looking forward to a new week, and I hope I won't give up because of what happened last week to me. Yeah, looking forward to this week.
Super. Well, I don't know what else to say. I mean, just imagine 6 weeks ago if you guys were able to, I think for many of you, data science, you had been studying yourselves, but in 6 weeks, each of you has come so far that you're able to become a source for knowledge for other people. That's amazing. Don't worry about hard weeks. I mean, it happens in the real world as well. I'm sure if you talk to someone in high school and they were saying, look, they're worried about university because they might do bad on one exam or one assignment, and you would tell them, look, it happens. Don't worry about it. Don't stress out about one exam. So it's the same, I would say, with 1 week. It happens.
Yeah, I think it's really, this is not, I think, again, in the marathon and sprint, this is really a marathon. And whatever happens here is good to get the best of it, to get the best exposure. But ultimately, what really matters is the next year and 2 and 5 years, really. And what you are setting up is the kind of the direction, right? Of course, if you set it wrongly, you can travel far in the wrong direction and may not be good, right? But it's not about really how far you covered like within these things. It's about getting the right direction. And then within that, you will walk for the next years. And you know, there will be a lot to learn. Like, this is all good, but there is so much to learn. And that will come. So keep only just great, learn as much as you can. Keep your health, you know, just be fit, whatever. But then don't try too much, worry about tiny details. Exactly, I think Aaron described it so well. Just, it's like one exam in your high school and talking about university, right? So there is really that analogy quite well. So just keep that in mind. So I think we probably are finished. What I will do is that we're not going to give any detail on the kind of like what you do, but on the general one, if you have any questions, we can, I think Ja is also here. Like, instead of waiting for the 12th, I prefer just to hold it just after this. So just like open session where we're going to say like, you know, whatever question you have regarding like, and then some tips. Last week, I think Gideon already told you some kind of tips. Already this in the week folder now, you will find also the document Gideon prepared, what to do in the competition, you know, what to be careful. So just go through it. It's in this week's folder. So yeah, but let's finish this one, and then we can just have this open session on question and session. So if Usman, Mustafa, and also Ja is here, just stay so that we can just reflect together.
All right, I'm going to stop recording. So have a super week, everyone. Bye.
Great.